think you choose what you want. You think you decide who attracts you, what pulls you, what wakes something ancient inside your chest. But Jung had a darker truth. By the time you feel desire, your unconscious has already chosen for you. Your shadow, the part of you don't control, don't understand, don't admit exists, is the one making the decision. Not your logic, not your preferences, not your conscious will. That's why desire hits suddenly, illogically, powerfully, like someone else whispered it into your bloodstream because someone else did. The version of you that lives in the dark. Desire doesn't rise from clarity. It rises from everything you suppress, everything you fear, everything you deny, every wound you never healed, every truth you never said out loud. Your shadow stores all of it. And when it chooses desire, it pulls from that vault of forgotten pieces. The anger you hid, the softness you weren't allowed to show, the impulses you labeled wrong, the memories you buried because surviving was easier. These parts don't die, they wait, and desire becomes their language, the way your shadow speaks when your ego refuses to listen. This is why the people who affect you the most aren't the ones who match your type. They match your truth, the truth you pushed away for years. When someone enters your life and your chest tightens, your breath shifts, your awareness sharpens. You call it attraction, but Jung would say your shadow recognized something before you did. Desire feels like destiny because your unconscious reacts faster than thought. It sees symbolic meaning, a forgotten emotion, a buried trait, a missing piece of who you are. It's not their face or their voice, it's what they represent. Your shadow sees in them a part of you that you abandoned. And the moment that recognition happens, desire ignites. Not because they're perfect, because they are relevant. They awaken the exact part of you you've refused to bring into the light. Jung believed that people are drawn not to what they like, but to what they lack. The traits you suppress in yourself become the traits you desire in others. If you buried your intensity, you desire someone fiery. If you buried your vulnerability, you desire someone emotionally safe. If you buried your power, you desire someone unapologetically strong. If you buried your freedom, you desire someone who moves without permission. You're not craving them. You're craving the part of yourself they embody. This is why desire feels humiliating at times, why it feels irrational, why it destabilizes your logic. Because desire isn't reacting to the present moment. It's reacting to your inner landscape. It is a message, not a mistake. A summons, not confusion. And the more you ignore it, the louder your shadow becomes. Jung said the most dangerous truth is this: you desire the life you never allowed yourself to live, not the one you planned, the one you suppressed. Every impossible craving you feel, every person you can't explain, every urge that embarrasses you, every longing that scares you, comes from the version of you that never got permission to exist. Your shadow remembers your unlived possibilities, and desire becomes its rebellion. That's why you desire people who disrupt your comfort, who threaten your structure, who pull you into emotional territory you've never walked. Your conscious mind whispers, "This isn't logical." Your shadow replies, "It's necessary." Because desire is not attraction, it is instruction. A map toward everything you were meant to integrate but abandoned along the way. Here's the brutally honest part. Your shadow doesn't choose the safest people. it chooses the ones with the greatest psychological significance. Sometimes that means people who resemble your childhood wounds, people who trigger unresolved patterns, people who mirror your denied traits, people who awaken dormant instincts. Your conscious mind wants stability. Your shadow wants evolution. And growth rarely comes from comfort. So yes, you may be drawn to people capable of breaking you, not because you're weak, but because your psyche is trying to complete a story you left unfinished. Desire becomes a doorway to transformation. But like all doorways, it can open into light or into fire, and your shadow does not care which, as long as it forces you to confront yourself. Most people think desire is about connection. Jung said it's about integration. The person you desire most intensely is not the one who completes you. It's the one who activates you. They activate your shadow. They activate your truth. They activate the dormant parts of your psyche that want to be seen, used, lived. This is why desire feels terrifying. It threatens your identity. It forces you to grow out of the version of yourself you've overgrown but keep wearing like a skin that's too tight. The right person will not feel like safety. They will feel like expansion, like stepping off a ledge you've been standing on for years. Because real desire doesn't pull you toward them. It pulls you toward your becoming. Here is Jung's final revelation. The one people misunderstand the most. You cannot control desire, but you can understand it. And understanding it is liberation. Once you realize, you don't desire a person, you desire a part of yourself. You don't chase a relationship, you chase your missing traits. You don't fall for someone's beauty, you fall for your own buried truth. You stop being overwhelmed by longing. The desire becomes a compass, not a prison. You stop asking, why do I want them? And start asking, what part of me awakens in their presence? And when you answer that question, really answer it, your entire emotional life reorganizes. You no longer fall uncontrollably. You no longer obsess. You no longer feel powerless in love, because now you see the architect behind your longing, your shadow. And once you see the shadow clearly, it stops dragging you. It starts guiding you. That is when desire becomes destiny, not addiction. Integration, not chaos. And finally, you become whole.